These are my exhaust headers and there's a problem. Yes, one of them is missing, but that's not the problem. It's a Yamaha MT-09, so it's supposed to only have 3. The problem is their color is a little dull. There's a bit of rust here and there, and there's even something burnt into this pipe. So I scoured the internet, and I think I found the ultimate method to get my headers looking as good as new. But I hope it can be done in less than 90 minutes, because I have to be out of here by then. Nevertheless, let's see how effective it is. In all honesty, my headers could be worse, but for a 5-year-old bike, it should look better. Actually, it's January once again, which makes it 6 years old now. Doesn't it annoy you when your bike gets a whole year older on New Year's Day? This is how they looked when I got the bike 2 years ago, practically new. So I am the problem without a doubt. But cleaning headers sucks. They're the worst shape, in the worst place, and require child labor to get in between all the tight spaces, so I always put it off. I give them a scrub when I wash the bike normally, but they require way more TLC than that. So I've got just about every item under the sun that people swear will get your bike's headers sparkling again. I've got toilet cleaner, Brillo pads, cloths upon cloths, a toothbrush, anti-dandruff shampoo, oven cleaner, silicone spray, steel wool, and Autosol. But most importantly, I now have an hour and a half of undivided attention for my headers. Unless something shinier comes along, in which case I'll probably be distracted. 90 minutes sounds like a lot of time, but it doesn't last very long with jobs like this. So first I needed to remove the headers. I always start off with good intentions and wear gloves, but they never last very long. There's an exhaust spring that needs to be removed, the O2 sensor that tells your bike how it's running so it can adjust the fuel mixture, and finally, each exhaust pipe has 2 12mm bolts that when removed, allow you to slide down their flanges. This is when I'm glad I don't have 4 cylinders. But once all the flanges are slid down, you can wiggle the headers off. I was lucky and nothing was seized, immediately saving me time. But I need to ride this bike home in just 84 minutes time, so let's hope the headers are back on by then, otherwise it's going to be a noisy ride. Removing the link pipe and silencer probably would have made things easier, but it's a mechanic's job to look for shortcuts. And just like that, my gloves were already torn. But now I could get a better look at them. In theory, stainless steel shouldn't rust. But headers live a tough life, being exposed to heat and all types of road conditions time and time again, eventually getting the better of stainless steel's chromium oxide layer of protection, resulting in pitting and corrosion like this. It won't rust away like raw steel, but ruins the look of your bike. So I gave them a quick clean with some bike wash and the pressure washer to get the basic road grime off, and then it was on to the first step. Apparently, acid is the easiest way to get rid of that dull coloring and corrosion, and something like toilet cleaner supposedly has that in. The most popular choice seems to be Harpic 10 times because it contains 10% hydrochloric acid or something like that, but this is the closest I can get where I live. From what I can gather, this will do the same thing, just slower. But be warned, it comes with its own set of risks. It's corrosive, it's difficult to rinse off properly, and it could permanently dull your exhaust. So maybe my weaker option is safer in any case. I simply drizzled it all over my headers, massaged it in with rubber gloves to make sure I covered every inch of it, and left it to do its thing for 15 minutes. 10 minutes later, I was already bored. It didn't look like it was getting rid of the rust on its own, and I started to wonder if my toilet cleaner had the required hydrochloric acid in it. But I got kicked out of chemistry class for not being able to do chemistry, so I took matters into my own hands and started to agitate it with a Brillo pad. Like this, that red surface rust came off effortlessly, and I was already glad that I'd taken the headers off the bike, so I didn't have to get into weird positions to scrub them, or be careful where I splashed chemicals. The flanges came out looking brand new, And overall, it was pretty satisfying. It might not have made them look brand new, but this is only the first step. There are still plenty of imperfections left, but judging by the color of the water, I got quite a bit of the rust off. I gave the headers a rinse, and then it was on to step 2. Oven cleaner. I mean, both ovens and headers get very hot, both get dirty, and both can smell quite nice, so there's that. And it supposedly removes anything that's burnt onto the headers. You see, when my bike lives at my house, I keep it under a bike cover. But sometimes I'm in too much of a hurry to wait for the bike to cool down before I put the cover on. And that's when the cover can burn to the exhaust like here. Plus, even the bottle claims to remove burnt-on pieces, so it must be good. Honestly, I had high hopes for the oven cleaner because it smells like something you don't want on your skin. The bottle wanted me to let it soak for 20 precious minutes, so we compromised and I gave it 10. I'm not sure if oven cleaner was less effective or if I'd just already removed the majority with the toilet cleaner, but it wasn't as satisfying. I was, however, excited to try the toothbrush on the rusty welds. I've been needing a new toothbrush for a while now, and I finally found a way to make it a business expense. I don't mind sharing it with the MT-09 obviously, but a Harley would be a different story. It was pretty effective too. You can see the foam turn orange, but the water didn't look even close to how it did the first time around. And after yet another rinse, it was time for the real rinse. With Head and Shoulders, because content on this channel is head and shoulders above the rest, or at least only slightly below average. Toilet cleaner is designed to hang on to your toilet bowl, which means it will do the same here. And ironically, it's corrosive. So we need to rinse the headers off the best we possibly can, otherwise it will just rust again, probably worse. But allegedly, shampoo, anti-dandruff specifically, I'm not really sure, helps to rinse that off or neutralize the acid or something important. And so I lathered up. I'm not sure if I'm just being had with this one, but I've got less to lose by believing this. I've never used so much shampoo in my life or felt so weird. But at least I didn't need gloves for this one, and it got rid of my bike's dandruff, which it is always self-conscious about. Again, I let it sit for a minute or two, washed it off, and then, you guessed it, rinsed it off again. After all that, they're looking pretty good. If I were to put them back on the bike right now, I wouldn't be too disappointed. But there's another step that could make them look even better. Metal polish. More specifically, Autosol metal polish. I bought this Meguiar's metal polish just the other day when I wanted to polish my Aprilia's frame. But every biker on the internet raves about Autosol, so I bought Autosol. It's said to apply with steel wool on corroded areas and buff off with a cloth, so I gave it a try on areas that looked like they had pitting. At first, it was a little lackluster. Shinier, yes, but revolutionary, no. It felt like it would work if I spent 4 hours doing this, but I'd hoped it would work more like magic. I wasn't totally sold on the steel wool approach, but after using a cloth over the whole part, I realized the steel wool wasn't that bad. So I went over the blemished area again with the steel wool, but this time with a little more vigor. I think the problem with the steel wool is that it gets flattened very quickly, and then it isn't abrasive. But if you use a new piece frequently, you can get it looking pretty shiny. At this point, I didn't have enough time left to make it look brand new, but it was looking a lot better than 80 minutes ago. I had just enough time to throw the headers back on the bike and make it home in time, but that's not what I did. I figured I still had a tube and a half of Autosol left, I wasn't bored yet, and I'd come here to complete a job. Before I knew it, I'd gone through just about all of my steel wool and missed my cutoff, but at least I could say I didn't half-ass the job. So that brings me to the final step. After all that hard work, it's probably worth trying to protect it with some high-heat silicone spray. Well, this is just regular silicone spray because I'm still searching for the high-heat stuff. Autosol also claims to protect, but another layer can't hurt, right? I just sprayed it all over the pipes and then wiped the excess off. Since it isn't meant for high heat areas, it will probably just burn off and smell pretty bad, but I'm still going to give it a try. I bet you're still wondering why I needed to get home in 90 minutes. Well, simple. I needed to put my girlfriend's shampoo back before she got home and noticed it was gone. Needless to say, I failed. But I think clean headers are definitely worth a night on the couch. So after trying all of that, here's what I would use next time. The toilet cleaner was good. I think it was worth it, and I don't think you need anything stronger. To be honest, I'd spend more time here, because I was under the impression Autosol would be a quick and easy way to get them to shine, but it also took a lot of effort. I don't think the oven cleaner did anything special. Toilet cleaner did the majority in any case, and it's cheaper. I have no idea if the shampoo works or not. You tell me if you're a chemistry expert. Autosol just requires repetition, and then it works brilliantly. The more passes you make, the better it will look. Obviously, it's not perfect, but the results speak for themselves. Let me know how you clean your headers, otherwise give this method a shot and let me know how it works for you. And I'll see you on the next ride.